Hello everyone, welcome to our next video. In this video, we are going to cover useState hook in React, which is the mostly used, mostly famous, and most important, of course, most important hook. One of the most important hooks we can say. Okay, so let's try to understand what are hooks basically and what is useState hook. So basically, initially there were class components that I mentioned in our earlier videos as well. But then class components, Facebook introduced a high performance component called functional components. And it also introduced hooks in them. Okay. So yeah. So they basically they are basically the alternate of lifecycle methods that were present in class components, but you don't have to worry about it for now as a beginner. Okay, so for now we can say that user stated highly used. It basically used to re-render the components. Okay, whenever the state is updated. For example, usually in jQuery and JavaScript, and we have to manage all the places where the variable is used. We have to update it, but in React it takes care of it itself. Okay, so now we will need the help of a component. We can call it state test, whatever test state, we can call it. That's no issue. And let's just stitch it in our app component first. And let's just see if it is showing up over here. Okay. So yeah, we can see state test over here. So we will see by actually doing the example, what does it look like and how does it work. So I am writing something. When I entered it, a new line is imported. This user state from React at the top. If it doesn't import on the top for you, you will have to add it manually. Okay. So you see, I have created. I am using destructuring data and set data from user state. So it basically returns two elements. So this one is our variable. This is same as, and this one is its initial value. So this is same as const data is equal to 0. Okay, this is like this. But also we want to, if we want to change the value of data, we can say data is equal to 14. So instead of this, if we do set data 14, it will automatically do what it do. It's equal to data is equal to 14. It's same as, I can say, is same as. So this is basically a comment which what I'm trying to say. Use state basically does two things. Data is equal to 0. This is this. Data is equal to 0. The initial value. If I do use state is equal to 4, then it will be data is equal to 4. If I say 6, then data is equal to 6. Let's just go with 0 and then set data 14 is same as data is equal to 14. It will be same as doing data is equal to 14. Now if I do uh, sorry, I did it in this component. I will cut it and I will use it in the state test. Basically, I will use it over here, and similarly, I will remove this import statement from here. I will put it over here. Okay, I don't need React in React in this statement. I can remove that. I have shared in earlier videos as well that you don't need to import React from here. And now what we are going to do is let's just save it and let's see if everything is working fine. Okay, everything is working fine because we haven't used these variables. Now what we can do is we can create a new variable. Our data is, and we can render data over here. We're just rendering over here, and you see we have 0 over here. Okay, now we want to update our data. Okay, so what we can do is increment data. For example, I want to change this data to add one. So now I'm going to use an event handler over here, an on-click event handler. See, we have on-click function for what you say in normal HTML as well. So, but they are now coming case, and we will pass an arrow function inside it for now. Okay, this is the empty arguments, and there is going to be an implies there and then curly braces. So this is an arrow function syntax. So we will cover these events and event handlers later on in detail as well. But for now, you can see we are only going to cover work with on click handler. So we give a arrow function inside it. Okay, and what we can do is we can do stat data, and we can do data plus one. So for example, let's just say directly, let's just say 9. So I'm doing it 9. When I click on it, set data to 9. So if I click on it, it's making it 9. Okay, it's not doing nothing, doing anything else. But I want it to increase 1 every time. So how can I do it? I can do data plus 1. Whatever data is, just add it into 1. So what is happening here is set data, whenever set data is called, this function runs again. Data is updated, and whenever this data is updated, this whole component is rendered again. And now this data will be updated. Let's see first. If I reload it, initially it's 0, and I increment it's 1, increment it's 2, increment it's 3, increment it's 4. And you see, whenever set data is called, this whole component, this whole return works, runs again. So in order to, this whole component renders again. This is called rendering. I am rendering. So let's just place it over here and let's reload it. Just ignore this gray part. You see it first, it is rendering once, and I click on one. It is rendering one. It is again rendering. It is again rendering. Just ignore this gray area. This is for we are using development mode. That's why this grayish part is coming. If you are in production, you will know the difference between development and production. You just see when your website is live. That is basically production. But this is just React's internal feature. It shows this. Just ignore this. So it's coming one time. Okay. So now what's happening over here is whenever you call a set data, this your whole component renders again. Okay. It doesn't matter if it is set data or set any other variable, set counter, set sum, any other variable that you create, it will render this whole component again. Render means everything with whatever is inside return, it will print this component again. Okay, and whatever if there are any child component as well, it will update those component as well. So for example, we can go into that, or we can try first we will go into that later. We will see in a bit, but let's just add a decrement button as well. That's pretty straightforward because I guess you can think about it how we can do it. Decrement data, and what we will do is we will just reduce it. We'll instead of plus we'll do -1. Now we will let's refresh. We'll do +1, +2, +3, and now we'll do -1. So it's going. It will go into negative as well. So you see it's and the rendering is coming one time only. Okay. Now this is the how the increment and decrement works, and it will look better if this 0 is in between them. So like if I bring this data in between these two buttons, so it's looks better. Not just moving the spaces, and in fact we can so yeah, let's just forget about it. We can do here we have 0. We can do some styling, we can do some inline styling and all that in a span tag and add some margin padding, but let's just ignore that. Let's just focus on the functionality. This is the decrement counter, this is the increment counter. Okay, now instead of increment data and decrement data, we can say plus and minus and minus. This is adding and this is subtraction, and you can basically switch these two buttons as well. So yeah, let's just leave it. So if there is a child component as well, so for example, I'll have to create some child component. And here I have it. And now I can put a console.log over here. So that is very important that you understand this rendering concept, how React rendering works, because even you will be working in the actual applications, you will see these issues, and so you should understand the how React works actually. Okay, so I'm just not showing you in simple words. Okay, this is useState. This is how you use it, and that's it. I'm not ending my lecture over here. I'm explaining you different variations that you may face while working with React and different issues you may face. Okay, so now what I'm going to show you is I have child test over here, and now let's come over here and let's reload it. So I'm rendering and rendering child component. First time they are rendered, so it is coming in. If I plus it, you see I am rendering is rendering, and rendering child component is again rendering. However, nothing is changed in child component. It is all same in child component. Okay, child component is all same, but it is rendering. And if I do minus, it is still rendering. On again minus, it's still rendering. Plus plus plus. Rendering child component should not render again anything. But if a child component is rendered, for example, I will create any state in this variable as well. You can say dummy, and you can call it set dummy. Oh, set test data. We can call it test data. Everything is fine, and this is just a convention that I'm using set and capital T and capital D. You can name it whatever you want. Just the order. That's the order that matters. That first is going to be the variable, and second is going to be a function. Okay, and let's just say we call it this, and inside we can again create a button as data in chart. Okay, now if I on click again, I will pass an arrow function over here, and I will do set as data. Sorry, as data plus one. Okay, now you will see if I click on it, so rendering child component will come or not. You have to tell me, you have to guess it right now. Will this come again and again or not? If I click on it, and will this come again and again? I'm rendering, or you can say I'm rendering parent is, or this is rendering child component. This is I am rendering. So if I am clicking this, so if I am clicking in, if I am clicking on plus and minus, then they both are coming. Let's just reload it. If I click on plus, I am rendering and rendering child component. Both are coming in logs. But what if I click on this? Let's just clean it and click on it. You see, only rendering child component is coming because the parent components are not rendered. Only the child component, or if there is any child of this child component, if there is a child of this child component, it will be rendered again. Okay. So this is how user state works. And now I want to tell you. Let me see in the documentation. It also renders the child component and user state with number. This is done, and you can do user state with strings. So let's just say if our now you can we will introduce another user state in the same component. We can do as many as we want. And its initial value is going to be empty string. And now, for example, uh, what's over here? I can comment this child test for now. And after that, here I can say my my str is, and I can say this str. So initially, you see this is empty. The empty string is this will not show anything. So I can create a button over here again, and I will say set string to okay. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm sure you know how you can do it. You will pass an arrow function inside this on click handler, and you will use set str again because it will update the str variable. And now you can do you can pass your custom string. You can do haha. Okay. Now you see set string to haha, and now you can see that set string to haha is basically there updated. Okay, this is how you work with string. So let me put a small adding over here. Use state with string is over here, and it was I can, I guess, I can rename it. I can add a main h1 over here, so it looks cleaner. This is a user state hook, and now we can call it, create another heading with a name, use state with number, because we did this is with the number, and this is just this is with the number, this is with this. Okay, and it will not update it because we have already updated it. Now we can try with use state with this boolean. What we can do is um, we can do is we'll do it quickly. H2 use state with boolean. Can say is open comma set is open equal to use state, and its default doing value is going to be false. And you can say now here I can use a ternary operator in if else condition. You will see how is open is now if it is false. Uh, this is a ternary operator is open, so open and closed. Okay, if it is open, is it true? I can say equal to true. If you know it from JavaScript, it's just it's equal to true, or I can simply say is open. I can remove this as well. Let's just see. Is open is closed, and I need to create a button to toggle it. Toggle is open, and I can simply say on click, and I can say that is open to not open. Now how you can you see what I have done here? If it is true, it will make it false. If it is false, it will make it true. Okay, I hope it makes sense. Now, if I click it, toggle is open. You see, this is open and close. This is toggling. Okay, this is toggling. This toggle means changing it open or closed. Okay, if it is open, make it to close. If it is closed, make it open. Now we can try how to use state with array. That is simple, and we will create a new variable const ARR, and that ARR is equal to use state, and it's going to be an empty array. Now how are we going to see it? Items, and say now that's an interesting thing. Items in array are. If it's an array, you have to use how you cannot do simply like ARR. Okay, if you do it, so items in array are empty. Now if you put it some values initially like this and this, yeah, you can say item one and item. Now you see this is item one and item two coming over here, but this is not the best approach. We want to show it in a list. So what how we can do it? If you remember, you can do it using map. Okay, and you can check my video on map, the previous video on map, and you can see how you can map these items in li. Okay, you can create a UL and create a li. So I will skip that because I have covered in map video over here. Now the important thing is how you can work with object. Okay, so let me create an object const obj comma set obj is equal to use state, and it's going to be like counter 0. Now you see if I put obj over here, and you see now there is this error that I want to show you. Objects are not valid as React child. You usually encounter this error a lot of times, and you have to see you are rendering something which is an object. Okay, so so you cannot render them directly. What you can do is object dot counter. It's value some value. Okay, you cannot render directly the whole object. You have to target some value, which is a value, a number, a boolean, or string, or something like that. It cannot be an object. Okay, you can't directly print an object inside a React component. Okay, make sure about it. Now, what we have to do is now we want to change this counter inside it. Okay, that's tricky. Think about it. How are you going to do it for the things what we have learned so far? Change counter inside object. What are we going to write in this on click function? Now that's the tricky part. Think about it. So we can use say set obj. Now what do I want is whenever I click on it, should be 0, 1, 2, 3. So for example, for now I can say counter 1. So if I click on it, it will change it to 1. It is working, but it's not incrementing it. For example, I can set it to 9. If I reload it and I click on it, it will change it to 9, but it will not, again, it will not work. Now, but how can I make it dynamic? How can I make it dynamic? I want to use the current value of counter. I can do counter plus one, sorry. I cannot, I will do object dot counter plus 1. Okay, now let me refresh it and 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, that's one way. And then there is another way to access this object. So, for example, and then there is another way. Second method. That is an important method. What you are going to do is you can pass an callback function inside it. Okay, you will do an arrow function over here, and it will take an argument ob my old obj. This is your whole obj, and now here you can return the same thing whatever you want to set in the obj. Now you want it to set it to be counter, and you will take this value whatever the old value is, my old obj dot counter plus 1. So now that might look complicated, but it might be very helpful later on when you're working on a complex example. So you may need to get access to the old value of the data. You can use it from over here to basically you should use this value. You should not rely on this method. Okay, this value may update from another component. This ensures that you get the latest value. And we come over here and let's reload it, and let's try to update it using this method as well. Okay, second method. So that's the preferred one that you should use while updating the object, while updating the data inside the object. So now, second method, and we can call it preferred method. So yeah, that was about it. This was about this video. So far we covered a lot of variations of useState. Let me go through it if we have covered all the topics that I thought. Okay, problem with using console.log just after static. So yeah, there is one more thing that I would like to show you. If I come over here and simply you can use any example. So let's just say we can use, yeah, we can use this example where we are adding our data. So let's find out this is become a huge component, but you should be able to work with larger components as well. So over here, we are doing on-click set data, and I can do console.log. And yeah, first I will have to create enter, and I will have to put a semicolon because I'm, wait, this is closing over here. And so yeah, I will put the never my next statement here. So I'll do console.log data. Okay. So you will see, let's see what is in the data. Let's reload, and I can see, I can write data is that we will do it quickly. We are just about to finish. Let's just quickly what I am trying to show. Let's clean it, and we press plus. So you see, yeah, the actual data is 1, but we are saying 0. When I will click 1, add 1, so its value is 2, but it's showing 1. That is because right now when we run set data, the value of data is not immediately updated. Okay, that's why it is using the old value. It will update on the next render cycle. Okay, so that's why this is using the old value. It's not updated immediately, but we will see how we can solve this in use effect. So that's about it. That's about it, this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to join our community on Discord. Take care.